So you got her number. Now you want to text her and set up a date. Okay. Now the issue is that I see guys make mistakes over and over again when it comes time to set up the date and how to do it. So what I did in this video is I'm going to break down for you the 4 biggest mistakes that guys make when it comes to setting up the date with a girl after you got her phone number. So the first of my 4 mistakes that guys make is they usually have a bad initial interaction. If you want to improve the quality of the phone numbers you get and the likelihood of seeing the girl again and getting her out on a date, you want to first think about optimizing your initial interaction. Okay, so let's say you met a girl out and about somewhere. If you walk up to her, don't talk about too much, just grab a phone number really quick and then run away right after you get the phone number, there's a high likelihood that there wasn't much connection or attraction built, okay? So spending a little more time after you get her number. That's one tip I like to give guys a lot that helps a ton. You know, the goal isn't just to get the phone number and run away. Believe it or not, there was an old dating book I read back in the day, one of the first ones ever written, and that was actually what he said: get the number and run away as fast as possible. That was actual advice that they gave. One great piece of advice that I like to give to guys is that after you get the phone number, stick around. Talk for a little bit more. You know, the longer time that you spend after you got the number, the more it's kind of confirming that you guys, you know, have a little something going on. You're already somebody. You're in the frame of a guy who she's already given her phone number to. So take some time to talk to her a little bit more. Have her share some more information about herself. Maybe do a little bit of flirting, and so back and forth, which I have a great guide on my site for free. You can go and check that out. And build a little more connection before you take off, because the more work you can do, you know, if you could do all the work and have as long and as great of an initial interaction as possible, then you wouldn't even need the phone number, right? You guys are still together. But the point is, you want to make sure that your initial interaction is as solid as possible. If someone is getting flaky phone numbers or having trouble setting up dates, I usually always ask, how was your initial interaction? What do you remember about the girl? How did it go? How long was it? Stuff like that, because making the initial interaction better is going to really help you when it comes time to set up the date. Now, the second mistake, which guys make this mistake probably more than all the other ones I have here, is the way they get the phone number. Now, if you get a phone number from a girl, what she's almost always going to do is open up the contacts in your phone and put her contact in, right? And that seems fine, but, you know, I hate to admit it, but a lot of times I've done that and I forgot the girl's name the next day, right? And forget scrolling through the context. I don't even remember who it was. The best thing that you could do, and the last thing that you want to happen, I've done that before too, and sometimes you'll text the girl the next day and she'll say, who is this, or something like that, and totally forget who you are. So to this day, I never get the who is this message anymore. I never lose a phone number at all anymore. I do this simple technique that works every single time. Here's what you want to do. When it comes time to get a girl's phone number, you know, hey, let me take your number down. Or she's like, oh, take my number down, whatever it may be. What you do is you open up a new text message in your phone. Have her put her phone number in on the top, or you just ask her what it is, and then reaffirm what her name was, or ask her what her name was in case you don't remember it, and just send her a text right there on the spot. So now you've started a new text message chain. What I also love about this too is, you know, a lot of these numbers, that they don't always pan out into, you know, someone that you're gonna wind up seeing a whole bunch and stuff like that. And that's fine. You know, that happens, right? So also too, you don't have a whole bunch of contacts saved in your phone either. So this way you just have the number and a text message in your phone. So if her name is Jennifer, I'll text her right in the spot. Jennifer, it's Joe. Bam, send a text message. Now we have a little back and forth. Usually they'll be like, oh, nice to meet you, or whatever. And you could even send a follow-up message the next day, whatever it may be. It makes it very easy to do because you already started a text message thread between the two of you. It's my favorite thing to do, my favorite way to get a number, and it works super well. The third mistake guys make when it comes to setting up a date with the girl is they do too much texting. Okay, you'll see this a lot on dating apps and just in general. I had a girl complain to my friend and I the other day. She's talking about guys and saying, what's up with guys? Why can't they just make a plan? Why can't they just, you know, ask me out? And why do they keep messaging? Oh, I'm excited to see you, or this and that. And then they won't even actually ask me to hang out. I think a lot of guys are afraid of the girl saying no. The thing is, I was told this a long time ago, which is a really, really important part to interacting with women, is that you have to put a woman at a Y in the road. My old instructor used to call it, which is putting her at a decision, right? You can't just. So many people will just have a normal, like you see this all the time. Guys are in the friend zone with a girl for 5 years, and they never put her on a decision with, hey, you want to go out or turn this romantic or not, because they're afraid of getting rejected. They never put a Y in the road. They just stay along whatever's the easiest course to go to. So sometimes when guys start texting with girls, they're like, oh, this is fun. We have some momentum going, and they try to talk and talk and talk and talk and joke, and they don't think they have enough attraction built up or connection, which they should have done in the initial interaction. But then they'll keep messaging and messaging and messaging and messaging and drag it out and drag it out. I even have a date from a dating app later this week, and I saved the messaging because I was like, wow, this is a perfect interaction. We started talking. There was like maybe 2-3 questions back and forth. Hey, we should meet up in the real world. Okay, sounds good. What's your number? And then texted her, hey, here's my number. What's your schedule like? Let's get together. I'll talk about how to do that in a second. But it was a very simple thing, okay? Ask a few questions. You should do all this actually in the initial interaction if you met in person. You just ask a couple questions, see if they hit some of your non-negotiables or see if they're interesting at all. Then you want to make the plans. You don't want to drag these things out, especially nowadays. Women have so much going on if they're on dating apps and other stuff like that. They have so many messages and notifications. We all do on our phone. So the last thing you want to do is to really be dragging things out. It actually kills the momentum. Your interaction that you have through text is like you showing up to a battle with a water gun, right? Versus you showing up in person and interacting with someone. It's like you showing up with your whole army and an entire arsenal. You can really display yourself and all of your characteristics when you're there in person. So it's going to behoove you to spend as much time in person as possible and as little time over text as possible. I always tell people, remember the goal of texting and getting the number or whatever is just a tool so you can meet up again in the future. And I'm going to talk to you about how to do that in the next point. So let's say you're texting with a girl. It's going back and forth. You had a good initial interaction. Things are good to go. It's time to make plans with a girl. This is where the fourth mistake comes in. And the fourth mistake that guys make is they're being too specific with plans, okay? They'll say something like, okay, let's get together at 7 p.m. on Wednesday for this comedy show. And they throw that out there. And then she'll be like, oh, I can't make that. Then what do? Right? Like, then you try to throw another plan out there. And sometimes she may take off, or it may be hard to get another plan. I'm going to teach you how to to set these things up. And this is what I've done that works the absolute best. So like I said, if you're texting back and forth, you say, hey, we should meet up again this upcoming week, right? You say something like that. She says, yeah, it sounds good. And then you say, or even before you say, we should meet up again, or we should get together, or we should meet in person if it's off a dating app. We should meet up in person this upcoming week. Key phrase, what's your schedule like, okay? When you ask her what her schedule is like, she'll let you know when she's free, when she's available. From there, you can run it against what's free on your end, okay? Now, what I like to do is I like to meet in evenings. I don't do afternoon dates, really. I get to tell you last time I did one of those. But, I like evenings during the weekday because I like to go out on the weekends. So I'll say, what does your schedule look like? And then I'll say, evenings are good for me. Or sometimes if I know I'm really busy, I'll say, the next couple evenings are good for me, or I'll say evenings during the week are good for me. So I can, kind of give her a little bit of time that I'm free. And you don't necessarily have to do that. The main part is that you really want to say, what does your schedule look like? And she'll say, well, I'm free Tuesday evening, or I'm free Thursday evening. She'll give you a time, and you pick one of these times that works for you and say, okay, great. Thursday evening it is. Let's get together then. And she says, okay, cool. Now, depending on how far away it is from that day, I may make the plan right there on the spot, or I may not. If it's more than 2 days away, usually like, okay, Thursday night sounds good. Then maybe we'll text the next day, or she'll even ask the next day or something like that. What's the plan? What do you want to do, right? And then you could do, whatever your heart desires. It's really up to you. You could do something that you wanted to do anyway, like go to a comedy show, or if you wanted to go for a walk or something like that. It's easy to meet at a local spot for some drinks. The absolute best date spot that you'll ever find is a bar that has like games. So something that has like cornhole or even like Jenga or some type of thing, like or a pool table or something like that. a bar that has a little bit of things for interaction. It's usually going to be one of your best date spots if you can find one of those. But you just tell her, okay, now once she's agreed that Thursday night works well, you say, okay, let's meet at, pick a time. Usually I like to do sometime after 7 p.m. Let's meet at here at this time. And then she confirms it. Okay, cool. You're good to go, okay? So all this stuff, you want to avoid those mistakes and use this strategy. It winds up being very simple. Look, this is all practical stuff. If you have a great initial interaction, if you keep it light over the text, man, my buddy used to say that even the next day, like, hey, it was good meeting you the other night. We should get together soon. And that would be just a one text he sends. And the girls would say, yeah, that would be great. And then you'd say, what's your schedule like? So you could even make the plans immediately. You don't need to do any of the back and forth and any of that stuff if you had a good and in-person initial interaction, okay? So keep the texting more brief and to the point. You know, don't try to do any crazy stuff or over messaging. Don't try to escalate things or be too flirty or all this crazy stuff or ask too deep questions. Don't do any of that while you're texting. Keep it brief, keep it light, and then you want to use these things to set up plans in a way that's going to be the easiest way possible. Like I said, what's your schedule like? Pick a date, go from there. If you do all this stuff, look, I've tried it all. It's been 13 years I've been doing this, and this stuff works the best, and it's worked the best for me, my students, and everyone else. So take this, use it, try it out. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Just add a comment below. And also let me know any other topics that you want me to cover here for you in my videos. And when you're ready, I'll have the next video queued up for you here on my channel.